Hi guys! This video will go through some hints for 6.3 on your own problem set, medium version. Okay, so for all these problems, we are finding the value of theta. We're given a triangle with a missing angle, two sides. We need to use those two sides to find theta. So I've set up each problem here with the steps we're going to follow. We're going to identify the sides that we have. Then you're going to use that to figure out which trig ratio should you use. And once you know your trig ratio, you're going to write an equation. So that setup is my first hint to you. My second hint for each of these is we're going to go through and actually label each triangle together. So we want to label these triangles to help us figure out which sides we have. We're labeling for theta. So I always start with the hypotenuse because it's always across from the 90. So for this triangle, our hypotenuse is the blank side. Then we find our opposite, which is across from theta. So our opposite is 12. And that leaves 10 to be the adjacent. Okay, so the sides that we have are 12 and 10, which is the opposite side and the adjacent side. All right, so now this is where you're going to start working on your own. You need to use this to figure out which trig ratio you want. And you want the trig ratio that involves opposite and adjacent. So see if you can remember which trig ratio that is. Is it sine, cosine, or tangent? And if you need to, write down SOHCAHTOA. Always do that. Don't be afraid to do that. There's no shame in that at all. That's why we have it, so we can use it. So use SOHCAHTOA to help you pick which trig ratio, and then you're going to write your equation. Okay, so we're going to go through that process for each of the other three. If you feel like you're good, you can stop it now. Otherwise, you can keep watching. Okay, let's label our second triangle. So our theta is here. Start with the hypotenuse, which is across from 90. So 8 is our hypotenuse. Then we go across from theta for our opposite side. So opposite is 6. And then our blank side is adjacent. So the sides that we have are 8 and 6, which is opposite and hypotenuse. So now you're going to ask yourself, which trig ratio involves opposite and hypotenuse? And that's what you're going to use to write your equation. And as always, use SOHCAHTOA. So you're going to answer that question on your own. Okay. So, number 3, theta is here. Let's label. Hypotenuse is across from the 90, so 19 is our, hypotenuse. Now we go across from theta to get our opposite, so our blank side is the opposite. And that leaves 15 to be the adjacent. So which sides do we have? We have 19 and 15. So that's the adjacent and the hypotenuse. Okay, so now ask yourself, which trig ratio involves adjacent and hypotenuse? And you can write out SOHCAHTOA. To help. Okay. And finally, let's label this triangle for theta. So theta is here. Let's find our hypotenuse. Our blank side is the hypotenuse, across from the 90. Then we go across from theta. So 34.2 is our opposite. And that leaves 36.8 to be the adjacent. So which sides do we have? We have 34.2 and we have 36.8. So we've got opposite and adjacent. So now ask yourself, which trig ratio involves opposite and adjacent? And use SOHCAHTOA to help you. Okay, once you've picked your trig ratio, you can go ahead and write your equation. All right, I hope this helped you get started on your problem set. Thank you for watching.